Good. Have a good day. You're dismissed. Goodbye. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show today. Um, I am stepping out of my faith here and hoping that people will understand what I am trying to say here without provocation. First and foremost, I am not speaking politics. I want to try to get the ear of the people that are marginalized in the 1A community that think because they have a bond with their political beliefs. I'm asking you to put that aside, all right? In any way, whether you're right or left, I don't care what it is. I would ask that you would have an open mind to what's really going on here. Because as I said in my description, we are looking at a politically charged, a politically uh, charged people that are canceling each other out constantly, right and left, and not being able to move forward to what we really need to do. Okay. And that is why we have law enforcement, like with James Freeman and those guys yesterday when they were trying to get into that public building. Ever since 2020 and what they've been doing, we know all about that, right? We know how they've been closing down our buildings. They use that as an excuse not to let us into publicly accessible places that would normally be open because of government operations inside these buildings. And the problem is, and the lack of participation of government, there's a cause and effect. That's what this was meant. Me staying out of politics, trying to bring Americans together as one, being a mediator, showing cause and effect. So that's what the C&E meant on the end of that in my um, title there. So moving forward to this, as people are coming in, the YouTube is continuously dropping and not pushing. For some reason, it's doing what it was doing before. If you guys are in here, you know that there's 6 people in here, but it says 2. See, they're playing games. It's the bots playing games. So we have to beat the bots. And literally, if you're in here, say hi and give give uh, YouTube the number 1 signal. If you don't know what that is your middle finger. And all colors, put it in all colors right across the board and let them know that you are here and they don't speak for you. And that is another bias in its perfect example of what I'm talking about. It's a bias censorship that is operated because the people that are supposed to be representing us are not representing us, ladies and gentlemen. We have no taxation for representation. We know that. We are the least people in the US to be slaved, right? So we're the least of the slaves inside this. Well, this guy don't know I'm live, but I'll do that. There we go. He could text me. Anyway, moving forward, what I'm trying to get accomplished here and what I have lined up is some videos to show specific people. Now, if you're on a side where I have kind of went into name calling back in the day, I won't say that. Why don't we call these people conservatives, okay? And the other people that are progressives, okay? they need to drop their banners, they need to drop their biases and come together on a common thing that is happening to us all right now. All right. No, like number one, like why is Russia, which is way behind us as far as our economics and the dollar being the top dog, the American dollar trying, supposed to be the top dog, right? Why is it that you can go get a giant cart and go to a superstore over there, a supermarket, and fill it up, and it'll be under $100, and over here you do that, it would be over $400. I believe Carl Tuckerson showed the world that a few days ago. He's got over like 76 million views on it. Yeah. So I'm more. It's more likely than not likely the majority of you people in here have seen this, right? Or have heard about it, right? So without using political bias and political spectrum hate, right? What we want to do is we need to stop that, bring down that level of anxiety in us, and forget who the winners and losers in the politically charged U.S. and come together as one, like I said, because this is a perfect example. This video right here, I'm gonna play this video real quick. This is a perfect example of government doing what it wants because of the threat level of people of asking questions, whether they're on the right or the left, it doesn't matter. And I'm not going to say what side they're. I know what side they're on, but I'm not going to say it because the whole subject matter that they're putting out is, and how I'm using this is that we need to be able to communicate with our government officials and our government property and be able to have access to that and be able to get in government. And since 2020, we haven't been able to do that. It has caused us because they knew we were coming. Now they're using the dope bean move of this and that and the stuff that happened in 2020. And I don't want to be censored for it. So unfortunately, I gotta watch what I can say here. Don't any of you get sick and tired of that? We can't even say what's really on our minds without a bot or AI shutting us down. I got more than 20 people that is clicking in here, but it says we only got 10. That's my whole point. Let me play this. This one's from AFA. Everybody knows AFA, right? Excuse me. Is this AFA's? So, yeah, yeah. So this is AFA's point of view right here, and I want to show because people that will watch that are not as hip to these videos as you are, they might not know. So I want to show a little bit of this. Let me go on. Let me show you. And what we're looking at here is people walking on a publicly owned sidewalk into a publicly owned building that has many of government publicly owned offices and different parts of the government that we go to take care of our business and uh, the everyday average allowance that gives us the freedom to do so. And the foundation of this, we all know that Colorado has made a Supreme Court ruling that any building, even if it's a strip mall, that has a publicly accessible um, entrances and exits, they have to stay open, and you cannot refuse us to come in there. You cannot refuse us. So let me play this.
What's going on? And Lee's got the questions, right, Lee?
I do have the questions.
Okay. Are you surely?
I'm
How
sure.
many questions do you have?
From the OMA, it looks like just one thing we need to inspect. Or wait,
Okay.
no. And then we have the state fire marshal, and then a second thing for medical marijuana. So it looks like we have 3 things
Got it.
in this building.
How you open the door?
Where you headed?
OMMA.
Fire marshal, and then. And we're getting an Open Records Act request.
Oh, you can call.
Call who?
Look on the door there.
Yeah,
Call whoever you're meeting with.
you gotta call whoever's gonna come down and get you. This is not an open building.
Okay.
Call.
Employee interest only.
Where's the public entrance?
Is there a public entrance?
It's not open to the public.
The building,
Call whoever you're meeting with.
it's not open to the public, but it's got public, so there's a public access point.
You see that? Call whoever you're meeting with.
Like, if this was a strip mall and they had a government office inside of it, it's public easement to and from.
This is not.
Yes, it is.
Now, why the doors are locked? That's the way.
Is this not a government building?
Here, I'm gonna call the fire marshal.
Thinks he's funny.
Now, I just want to point out right now what we're looking at here. We're looking at a government building paid for by taxpayers. Whether they own the building or not, there's like 9 or 10 different government entities in here where this should be an open point. They're acting like this is a court or something. They're acting that they have actual police officers that are Cole certified with arrest power that are by the elevators in one of the public access points, all because there is a lawyer and some journalists going around asking questions in these government areas, and they don't want to be transparent at all. And I'm going to show this. It goes against the Public Records Act. So here we go. My fault. Where is that? There it is. Boom. I don't know why it did that, but it did. Moving on.
I'm surprised there isn't one of these stickers that says no camera.
Michael Live.
Remember,
50,000
everybody,
people in here,
drop
get it
your
open doors.
biases, man, in here. No, don't look at the left. Don't look at the right. You have to think with your judge of character without any political talking points, any political buy points, and know that you are a steward of the United States, being a United States citizen, understanding that your taxpaying dollars pays all for all that stuff. Okay. And if people don't understand that, and for people to automatically take a stance against anybody doing this, you belong in North Korea. If you was to go to North Korea for a day, you would cry like a baby would cry wanting milk. You would starve because they wouldn't let you take care of yourself. You wouldn't be able to compete. You wouldn't be able to speak out against people not letting you compete, and they would murder you right there in the synagogue, or right in, not in the synagogue, but right in the streets, and they would walk by your carcass all day long for thinking the way Americans think right now, the average American, and what we know and what we think. All right. So keep that in mind when you're watching government officials that work for you and I stopping people like this from exhausting their remedies and wanting to gain access to something that they have a right to have access to. It's not a want, it's not an entitlement. It is a right.
Oh, so we might want to tell these people it's not an open building.
Yeah.
It's not open.
Hey,
Oh, you got one of those.
It's not an
Hello.
open building.
We need to get into the OMA building to do.
They said it's not an open building.
Ma'am, do you have a card?
Your card, yeah, our records.
They
This
have to
is
use
this
their-
is unacceptable,
Oh,
ladies
sure.
and gentlemen.
How do we buy one of
This
those?
right here is
Are they for sale?
You have to be an
unacceptable.
employee here.
Oh.
Is
So
this
who-
a government building or?
Who owns the
I
building?
need a
Well,
list of
it's
all
leased.
pending documents.
Who owns the building?
It's
Now
leased by
listen to
government,
this
so
man
whether
and
it's
how he
owned by
talks
them or not, it's
to
fine.
AFA.
Well, that's what I mean. So even if
Some
there's,
people might think that AFA is a little sarcastic, a little of a smarty, and all that. That doesn't matter. This man is acting in his official capacity as a law enforcement officer, and he needs to stay professional at all times because the only way, remember, this is the law that everybody's supposed to come together on. The law says the only way law enforcement can use harassment, that can use disorderly conduct, or disturbing the peace or creating a disturbance is if they are a victim of it, and they can't be a victim of none of that unless any of these three gentlemen in here are threatening them and directing all these comments to them specifically as it would be construed as a threat. And otherwise, everything that's said is free speech in a full public venue and a full public forum. All right.
even if there's one office in here that has, even if it's a private building with just one government office, it's public access. Case law is extremely clear on that. There was a case last year, I believe, in Colorado, where they had like a temporary DMV in a strip mall.
Yep.
And they were trying to kick them out
Good
and saying
point,
it's
Lenny.
private access, and the Supreme Court upheld that any access to and from is public.
During those, or it's a misdemeanor.
And you know I love y'all.
And I'm recording this phone call, so I have your name, so you refuse it's a misdemeanor. Okay.
So later on here, what we see here, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Later on, what we're seeing here is they do get access
She was gonna say you have to do it
because
online. I told her
somebody
it's a misdemeanor, so
reasonable
I'm not
comes
putting
and
it on.
talks to them,
So,
and
that's
there's
why I
no
recorded the phone
this. You can tell this lady absolutely has
These are government
zero
agencies.
bias.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
has
I'll tell you.
Yeah,
zero
there's a
bias
juvenile
with
court.
these people,
Tax
right?
commission needs to be here.
Look at all them government entities. Go back and look. Look at that.
Good.
So, that's why I'm recording
Back
the
on the windows again. Hold up, right there. Look
Tax
at
commission.
all them government entities that they have in here. This should be an open building like it would anywhere else. Thank you, Gloria. I appreciate you too. Love you too. For sure. For sure. Appreciate all the support. Thank you.
Needs to be here.
I think I'm gonna go live and have my.
I'm just a person that might get a little excited every now and then, might kind of, redress or protest in a more, passionate, in depth. That I might get on some people's nerves in the manner of how I do it. And it's purposefully done to elicit specific behavior that we could put on these people on a warning list and say, see, they can't handle it. So what is it going to come down to? Somebody that really does have mental challenges, that really does need help and wants to get access to some of these things and can't because these people are too biased. They're too busy trying to tell people that they can't, what they can and cannot do, instead of actually serving them as the public servants that they are. That is the way they need to look at this. No matter what, everything organically plays out. Yes, people do get upset. Yes, people do commit crimes and things does happen. That is what law enforcement, obviously there, they can handle it if it does. They need to stop gaslighting people and using them gaslighting tactics and a use by force later on that I will show you that James Freeman does a really good job of breaking it down, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's Jeff. J-E-F-F. H-E-N-R-Y-S.
And I'm going to let people know. I know people have heard me say some things about him. I totally disagree with the fact that he is in a position to where he is his narrative of how he contradicts himself into the point of saying that he's recording the downfall of a nation while he's racking in all that money, and at the same time he wants to tell you that there's no hope, but there is a foundation after the fact. Okay, so when we do make each other aware and we start making phone calls and the phone calls work, so we do make change, and what he's saying is wrong. We have to be optimistic about this. Quit trying to say we're going down when all we have to do is say, well, we're going to go through some things. We're going to make some changes because we have the foundation. And I'm recording the falling of tyrants. That's what he should be saying, because that would be the truth. You know?
I also have one to do as well. 3 of us here need to do them.
And then number is
You see how people are coming in and out? They're not equally applying the law. That
There was
should
like one
not be
Oklahoma school thing.
any and all of this should not be a secure point access to this building that has all these government entities in it,
Regional University System
including the fire chief.
of Oklahoma.
That's having the attorney general call me back.
Oh, that's going to be forever.
Oh, I know. But I mean, I was recording that phone call, and so if she doesn't let me, it's a misdemeanor. So, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Hey,
I want you guys to listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have a representative to like fill out Open Records Act requests?
Person that this guy right here continues to like present a threat to these gentlemen sitting out here wanting government access to protest and to redress their government, like it says in the First Amendment, in a full public venue. This is a full public venue here.
Are Open Records Act requests like representatives, so I can fill out something and hand it to them, so we don't.
Then open the fucking door.
I tell you what, talk like that and you can be removed from the property.
See, he just threatened them with violence. That's gaslighting. That's saying, hey, we're going to remove you. You know, to remove somebody, you would have to physically put your hands on and get violent with them. That is a violent action. So for him to sit there and lock a door that's not supposed to be locked and make you feel like you're crazy and you'll be punished, that's gaslighting. That's another form of gaslighting, because it's making you think that you're crazy, that abuse is your fault, that they would inflict on you. Like a man with a woman, when he beats a woman to the point to where she can't defend herself, and then later on he's telling her, see what you made me do? This is all your fault. If you wouldn't have been at the door trying to get in to something that you had access to, I wouldn't have did this to you. So it's your fault, right? This is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. You know, to break this down, I'm trying to break this down without using name calling. And this guy right here is a tyrant. This guy right here is an order taker that does not care about the rule of thumb of law of what they took an oath to. That is the problem. That is why he needs to be replaced.
It's a public building.
No, this is the deal.
There's no deal.
Continue on that way.
We don't
Shut
do.
up.
You shut up.
All right. Okay.
You got us.
I'm not with these guys. Not really. But so what I need is I need to
This
fill out
fucking
an
tool.
Open Records Act request. So can I fill write down a name on a piece of paper, hand it to you guys, and you guys have to have a representative to take those legally. So
Well, we'll still be talking about what we legally got to do.
are you? I
Are you-
work at a law firm.
You are the most stupid person on the face of this planet. You are just
You want me to
dumb.
call my
I
attorney?
need help.
I have an attorney.
Look at how he got butthurt. His partner got butthurt. Look at the look on
We'll
his face.
still be talking about what we legally got to do.
Are you?
Are you-
I work at a law firm.
You are the most stupid person on the face of this planet.
Look at him.
You are just
It's
dumb.
okay,
Call
it's
my
okay to
attorney.
walk
I have
away
an
from
attorney.
that.
We want people like me here.
Now
We
he's,
people
I
like me.
think, I believe he makes a phone
Listen,
call
you're an idiot. You
and
know what? You
tries to
should
get
serve
his-
yourself
his
and do a new
uppers
job.
and-
You're a fucking walking moron.
Yeah,
You're
I
a
think
dick
he
with
tries to
hands.
get his uppers involved. The phone call that he makes right here to see if they can get him.
Be
for some
careful
type
in
of
there.
code of conduct.
That guy's trying to make deals or something. I'm not sure what he's selling. It might be drugs. He's making deals.
You know, AFA being AFA.
Yeah, you were fine, but I'm just trying to like get them because once they didn't.
This guy's making deals. He's making, here's the
So
deals.
This
You guys got a
right here
pen?
is unacceptable. No matter what side you are on, you as an American have
He's
the
talking
right
about
to
us.
be in this building. No matter what reason they think that you don't have, they are not paid to assess the reason. They are
The
there
cop was just
for
on the phone with another cop.
security and
If they heard me
safety.
ask for a
That's
pen, they won't
it.
give me a pen.
Everybody
There's
has
gotta be like
business.
some sort
The
of
First
common-
Amendment
Well, see, here's the thing, right? Like,
has
so they're morons.
business action. So them having cameras recording inside a public venue, they're allowed to. That's where you're allowed. A full public venue is where you have all your constitutional rights and you can use them there. And they don't like this for some reason.
So we'll explain. There was an
So, anyways, this guy ends up making a phone call. Excuse me. This guy ends up making a phone call, right? And then things change because this nice lady right here comes down and allows them interest to the building and gives them access. And then they just ask a few questions. And her boss basically politely tells them, "Well, keep me off camera, please, but I'll let you record me, but just keep me off camera. So I'll answer all your questions to a point where I think she gives them the benefit of a doubt that they're not going to, but sets a boundary, even though we know that boundary, and she's quite wrong on her assertion because we're allowed to record public people in the course of their public duty, but they are in a area where it's restricted now. So she does have, you don't have full public venue rights to record.
So I don't mind being recorded, but I do not want my face on camera for personal reasons.
Okay.
Well, I thank you for meeting with us. Unfortunately, personal doesn't really apply in public. We're just hell of a job keeping us out of the building. What's going on, guys?
So as this stuff organically breaks down, we see this nice lady come down. You can see that right here. She comes down, has a talk with them, because we're not going to go through all these like this. They do their thing, and then now, after they ask those questions, they go into the fire marshal. The fire marshal takes them, and he is actually has certified powers of the state to arrest. So now he's going
We're
here.
out of here. Like,
So they're actually doing what they came there for, was to get specific answers for that one guy that's trying to open up a business that they're stopping that guy from opening.
see, I'm from the fire marshals. Then okay. Do you have police powers as a fire marshal here?
Arrest powers?
Yeah.
Excellent. We don't need those.
Where I'm from, the fire marshal, they have to go through the fire academy and take extended courses, but none of them are state agents. They're all municipal agents. So it's kind of weird. It backlogs everything. No one can get anything done because if you got an influx in one city, but the town next door is really small and doesn't have a lot going on,
Right.
you got fire marshals that don't really have anything to do, and then the next one they're kind of spread thin. It's kind of weird.
You guys want open records?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please. And did he say we want?
Yeah, I got the,
Okay, perfect.
what we need.
Yes, please.
It's pretty simple. That's it for the COO.
I've already got it, Kirsten, bro. I did a 5-year bit.
Right.
For everybody. It's not her office, it's this office.
All right. So as we move on into these videos, here, I want to go into another one now. All right.
Actually, let me just take a picture.
Let me go into another one where And this one here, we're seeing this should not be happening in your local municipalities. And I've been saying this for a long time. And actually, years ago, I was watching a CPAC, um, oh, I forget what it was. It was some kind of convention. I watched the DNCs and then I watched the Republicans. So the DNC was for the Democrats and CPAC is for no, I'm sorry, the DNC is for Democrats and the um, CPAC is for the conservative Republicans. And I think it was Blackburn. She said you need to start at your local municipalities and police departments to get this type of transparency. And I'm like, you know what? She's right. The heck with all this political crap of who's in office, because all that federal crap is just a distraction because the real crimes are happening locally, right here in your local municipalities.
It's a misdemeanor.
Open records.
Open Records Act,
Yes,
excuse
let
me.
me go back a little bit here.
And out of the Oklahoma Open Meetings Act, it's a misdemeanor.
Open records.
So right now, just to let you know, he's calling the police so that they would. He's an officer of the court. He's an attorney. He's got his bar license, and he watched a city clerk that gave an oath that's under the oath of the mayor to abide by the Constitution. The state Constitution says the same thing as the federal Constitution under the open acts of FOIA and information.
The Open Records Act, excuse me. And I'd also like to make a citizen's arrest while I'm here since they refused. And that's under Title 22.
You see, it's this type of behavior that we're talking about, guys. This type of behavior right here. Well, watch this. He just simply goes right here to people that are in these positions that serve us, right? And he asks for certain documents that are supposed to be accessible in time, place, and manner, which is Smith versus Cummings. So that the building is open. Their First Amendment is being applied. They're assembling there. They are recording together. They are redressing their government under the Open Cares Act. And they're asking to inspect the record. So when they're asking to inspect the record, right? What do we see? If they have it and if it's available, what are they supposed to do? Let you see it, right? Instead, he had to do this.
Why?
Sir, there are no records available right now. It would be a report that would have to be.
You don't have the bank records for your 991 fees?
She is lying, ladies and gentlemen. This lady just bare-faced lied to him. She's given, under her oath and his oath, these people are both officers of the court and officers of their duly elected duties. All right. And she is looking into an officer of the court and looking into his eyes and directly lying and breaking her oath. She's already under an oath to be honest and truthful. There's no crime being committed here. He's not asking something that he's not entitled to. He's asking for something that he's very much entitled to, ladies and gentlemen.
Those would have to be records that need to be requested.
No.
In writing, pursuant to the Open Records Act.
No, ma'am, the Open Records Act says that public records are available for public inspection.
Yes, those are reports that would have to be made.
They're not
for
reports.
open
You get
records.
bank records, right? On your 991 bank accounts.
All of our
That y'all
accounts,
have those.
we're not going to give you all of our bank records.
You're not
You
going
can
We didn't ask for all of them.
The
So you're not going to
request.
give me all your bank records. You're going to violate the Oklahoma Open
No, he
Records
isn't.
You
Act.
haven't sent me any requests in writing.
I don't have to. I'm in person, ma'am. The Oklahoma
You
Open
didn't
Records
present
Act.
the request in
Ma'am,
writing.
can I speak for a second? Let me try to educate you on something,
You
okay?
don't need to educate me on
Well,
anything.
I'm an attorney.
Sounds
ma'am.
like he
Are you
does.
sure? I'm an attorney. I'm an attorney. Can I educate you on the Oklahoma Open Records
No, I
Act?
don't need to be educated on anything. Would you like to make an appointment with the DA?
No, ma'am, I'd like to make an open records act request and
then you
inspect
do it in
governmental
writing.
records right now.
Then you do
Isn't
it
it
in
your
writing.
DA that wrote a letter on the 991 fees and said that y'all are, it's all appropriate and correct? Wasn't it your district attorney that did that, ma'am? It was your district attorney. I need to have an officer come. I'm at the courthouse, the Texas County Courthouse, and I have made a request for some records, and I have some people refusing to provide me records, which is a misdemeanor, and I need to report a crime. So I need an officer, please.
Speaking of calling the cops, have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? Well, I recently saw a video he made and I was shocked. He's in his 80s now, still kicking butt, working out, and staying active. What's even more shocking is that he's stronger, can work out longer, and still has energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by making just one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger. Her body is leaner and she has energy all day. Chuck made a video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/James.
That's a good point.
Or by clicking the link below in this video. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.
Anyways, obviously he's advertising there, but
The Oklahoma Open Meetings Act is a misdemeanor.
Open records.
Open Records Act, excuse me. And I'd also like to make a citizen's arrest while I'm here since they refused. And that's under Title 22.
and there's a lot as far as the way James thinks that I disagree with, but I love his work. And if I was face to face to him, I would tell him a few things and show him the evidence that I have of him and what he said on the record, just like I've said some things in the past that I have changed on. Okay. So if you're wanting to make change, you got to show by the example sometimes. Okay. And you got to have an open ear and you can't use things to delegitimize the purpose of the person that is bringing a subject to you that is contradicting. If it contradicts itself, if you're sitting there saying, I'm recording the downfall of a nation, right? But yet I want you to make all these phone calls. Wait a minute. If you're following the downfall, you're saying that there's no hope and it can't be changed. And it's the end, right? Bull crap. That is a lie. The foundation by itself. So instead of saying that, why don't you say, I'm following, I'm recording the downfall of tyranny and tyrants. Okay. And then the revolution can happen. And then we have the foundation already, which is the Constitution to rebuild back upon. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be fooled. Don't let nobody tell you a lie, because that right there is the truth. And the truth, you know, as it always has been said, will set you free for sure.
Yes, ma'am. I'm at the Texas County Courthouse. I'm at the district attorney's office where they're refusing to give me these records.
Third floor. I believe it's the county clerk's office.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Howdy.
So the reason why I called is we came here to request governmental records.
Now, this guy is articulating this perfectly to this cop. And watch what happens. Watch how everything changes. And for the people that are anti that watch this stuff, you know, you need to find something in here to change that. Because I have towards you, just to let you know, as the example, that's why it says I am staying out of politics. Okay. And I'm trying to bring Americans together. That is my hope. That is the vision in this video that I'm trying to set from this day forward. I've always been trying to do that, but it's really hard to seep through because I cared too much about what specific people were saying, and now I don't care anymore what people think. I've always had the judge of my own character, but I've been my passion wants to say, if they only understood, right? If they only understood what I was really trying to say, That's why most people would say, well, Whoopi, he's kind of, misunderstood. No, well, yeah, I am to a point, but no, I'm not to other points because I'm telling the truth and they're brainwashed and they don't want to come off their certain settings and they use things as an scapegoat to like the back of my head or my handicap and all that other dumb stuff that they talk about me instead of saying, well, he is telling the truth. You won't say that he's not telling the truth. Oh, he just won't stop. Oh, he just don't won't settle down. No, that's not it. It's not that I'm not telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. And for people to sit there and say that I seen somebody say something yesterday, it don't matter to me. It's just a false narrative. One person out of 1,000 people that was saying hi to me yesterday in these live streams, one person said, "Oh, you just got called out for something that you did." No, I didn't. I got gaslit on something that I did when I told the truth, and that is their way of deflecting by attacking on me personally. Sticks and stones, baby. That's all I got to say to the rest of them.
Pursuant to the Oklahoma Open Records Act. The Oklahoma Open Records Act provides that governmental records that are publicly that are possessed by the government are publicly available for inspection during regular business hours. I came to request the district attorney's office. Actually, I first stopped in Cimarron County to request their records in Cimarron County related to their 991 fees. It's a DA supervision fee. I don't know if you've seen it in the news a lot, but
that is a fact, ladies and gentlemen.
Big thing about the district attorneys using these 991 fees for inappropriate things. They're supposed to be supervision for, like, if you're on probation, you pay the DA $50 a month for your supervision part of it. You're a law enforcement officer. Anyway, they take these reports, they take this money, and then they expend it for things that's not been appropriate. Well, the district attorney for this district wrote the letter on behalf of the DA's council related to the use of 991 fees. So we came here to request a copy of the receipts and the expenditures from their 991 accounts. And the woman downstairs, and we have it on multiple videos, is refusing to give us access, despite the fact that they have it, refusing to give us access to governmental records, which must be available for open inspection during regular business hours. So that is a misdemeanor. She can tell you that she's not going to give you the records, therefore there will be a misdemeanor committed in your presence.
Now, he is absolutely 1,000% right. This person is, in fact, Cole certified to arrest people that commit misdemeanors in his presence. And he also states that he, in fact, can make a citizen's arrest under whatever title that is in their state, as we do here under the MCL that we have.
Which is an arrestable offense. We can walk out there and do it in their presence. If not, then it was a misdemeanor committed, and I'd like to exercise a citizen's arrest under Title 22.
In his presence. It's got to happen in your presence. You can't just walk up and somebody tell you something and then you act upon that. Okay? No, that's you as a private individual. If a person seen it and then you walk up after the fact and then A tells you that he's seen that misdemeanor committed in his presence, but is not physically able to do it, he cannot get B to actually go and make that citizen's arrest and take them to the magistrate. You can't do it. So it is A has to do it. And he is right.
We're in a courthouse. The statute requires that I take possession of the person and deliver them to a magistrate. You're here. I'd much prefer you do that than me. But I'd like to place her under arrest for violation of the Oklahoma Open Records Act.
Do you have the statute that you're referring to so I can read it up?
That's Title 53. I can give you the statute citation for you so you can pull it up on the phone.
Let me go talk to people downstairs.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Gonna have to arrest her.
And see, one of the things that they can do with the court fund is they can appoint the same attorneys over and over again and essentially feed the ones that they want to feed with cases, and they work this symbiotic relationship with the judges and them. So,
Yeah, Mr. Bell.
all right.
So I visited with the district attorney, who would like for you to come in. and
Sure.
visit with him
Okay.
and explain to him exactly what you're requesting,
Okay,
and then they'll see if they can accommodate.
sounds good. Let's go.
How many people does it take to get an answer to a relative question?
And he knows what I was actually.
The crime. Would that be the purview of this district attorney, or because of their employment, would they be referred to another county?
You guys have a representative in the office of the DA, so you can quit ringing the.
Did you hear that? You guys. See, again, she is politically charged. You hear me, guys? She's politically charged to say something like that. You guys. And he speaks for himself quite well in the response. That type of profiling, that is because of identity politics, ladies and gentlemen. We have to throw out identity politics. She wouldn't even have said anything like that if she wasn't politically charged somehow, some way. I promise you that.
Doorbell and ask.
No, so ma'am, listen, he's not my daddy
Or my
I'm-
representative.
or his representative. I'm asking my own
He rep-
questions. I didn't come out of the same birth canal
You see the disrespect and disdain?
as him. Sounds good.
How you doing, Officer Bankston? Hey, I'm James. Good to meet you, sir. Hey, so I'm actually not represented by the bar member in there. So can I ask the lady questions?
I'll let her know.
Okay, yeah, let her know I don't have any representation. I self-present. Thank you, sir.
Now, see, they constantly put us all into that category. That's why sometimes, and especially those of you that hold a camera that is in my stream right now, you know darn well that we've been accused of being BLM or Nantifa or some other left-wing ideology that it gets old. And it's just not the truth. And it shows how ignorant you are. And it shows how ridiculous you really sound. If you listen to that after having that knowledge, and if you have any shame and dignity, that would make you ashamed of yourself. And you should be.
Oh,
I let her know. She's busy right now, but I did let her know.
She's busy.
There's a
Oh, okay.
surprise.
Yeah,
He's
and
busy, y'all.
you can give her my name. It's James. Yeah, James Johnson. Friends call me Grande. Yeah. Yeah, so Grande Johnson. Just let her know. Yeah, thanks. Well, it's James Johnson, but friends call me Grande.
So it's what?
Grande Johnson.
So let's move up and we will see. No, this conversation right here, I think it's really important for people to see this because it's this right here that we get accomplished. Okay.
Consensual. They did not touch me anywhere I didn't want to be touched.
It was consensual?
It was consensual encounter.
I was gonna tell you, I think, you're doing all this auditing. Why don't you go to Washington DC and audit the
So-
law?
Now, let me stop that right there. This is why I literally targeted that narrative right there. That is a false narrative, even though what he's saying is somewhat accurate, but it's not articulated correctly. Basically, Washington, D.C., and the political spectrum out there, and that's what I'm trying to stay away from. That is why it's very important to narrow our subject matter and how we go about holding people accountable is to your local magistrates and your local municipalities and your local city halls. That is where all the tyranny is happening. Everything else is a deflection. The United States government is a deflection. Do you actually think that you have a representative in the Congress or in the Senate, let alone in the White House? You don't. None of them are protecting us and doing what is necessarily correct to do in our Constitution and what it allows us to do to protect our country. And they're not doing it. We don't have any taxation for representation. That's why inflation's going out of the roof right now because they are illegally taxing us. They're taking monies to rob Peter to pay Paul and stick into their pockets.
Well, I'm working. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But start local, right?
Right.
You know, the thing that impacts us the most are the things that are most around us, and we don't pay attention to it. And I call it the distractions. Like, hey, pay attention to what's over here,
Yeah,
and
we
don't
see
pay
that
attention
every
to the
day.
stuff that's local. And it's like the stuff that's local, that's what paves your street.
Gloria, all of you guys in here, you guys have heard me say that for years. I've been saying all this for years. It ain't nothing but a distraction. All this is a deflection to get us off the real deal that we need to be paying attention to.
That's where your kids go to school. That's where everything that happens to you, for the most part, happens locally. The federal government, I mean, it's just a distraction. So that's what
Well,
we're
we see
worried
that
about.
every day.
And look, I just
Every
want
time a news story breaks on Biden, they gotta
yeah.
throw something else out there.
And I
So he has what he has, and he got it right. So I want you guys to listen to this part right here when Mr. Freeman breaks down a very good point here to this pignoramus here.
Back down, let's figure it out and see if we can't work this out. And that's exactly what we did today.
So we got a hell of a lot done too. People take the time to just sit, talk, figure out what each other needs. That's all. I mean, he wasn't asking for much when I was asking.
That's what they're paid to do, ladies and gentlemen. It's not what they need to do. It's what they're paid to do. That's how that needs to be put. There is no need. It's mandatory. They don't have an option. And the options that they take, other than serving you what they get paid to do, is a violation of the Open Records Act and the oath and their bargaining agreement and their code of conduct. All of it.
Asking that young lady, I was asking the same question that I asked you, the same way I asked you. She wasn't having it. She was aggravated. It doesn't help the situation get any better. Just trying to
Okay,
get
so
clarification
let
on
me
that
just, look, when you got people with cameras and stuff like that where there's normally not cameras.
Yeah, you got 6 of them, right?
Listen to the cop splaining going on here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the talking point amongst the 1A where they show when police officers are trying to give you an explanation of why people would violate your rights, treat you like crap, not service you, violate their code of conduct, violate their bargaining agreement, and the person's oath that they've either taken themselves or under the oath that they're working under. Yeah, all that. This is supposedly an explanation, and I love what James Freeman comes back and says right here.
7.
You got 6 coming you right now,
But
Sheriff.
they're not in your face like you guys.
Oh,
to be honest-
Big Whippy. To hear him say it, that camera right now is in his face, even though he's 10 feet away from him.
Honest with you, their cameras are actually closer to their face than mine is because I've never come in. First of all, this
Well, I mean, but you're
Glassing.
standing there holding one. It's apparent. Most people walk through here and go, "Wow, there's a camera." And they don't
listen,
even
I will
think
never
twice
come
about
in
it.
your face and be like, I would never come closer to you than I would want you to come close to me without any reason. Like we don't know each other. We're not shaking hands or saying, "Hi, how are you?" So we stay at a respectable different distance. Regardless, I think they're
It's just the intimidation factor of the camera, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as police officers, we all know that there's cameras everywhere and stuff like that.
Dude, there's
And I'm
far
glad-
scarier things
and
than
I'm
cameras
glad
out
that
here.
we have cameras
The-
nowadays.
the
Bro,
cam-
you want
I
to see
grew
something
up-
really scary?
I grew up in law enforcement where we didn't have cameras, right? And so there was a lot of unanswered things, right?
there are things
But-
scarier than
But
cameras.
now, yeah, there is. I mean, try walking down the street
I'm gonna-
of New York.
He's
I'm
got
gonna-
one for you.
I'm gonna slowly pull my hand out of my pocket. Please don't shoot me. But you want to see something scary? Are you sure? You ready? You want to see something scary?
And I
An
did.
acorn,
An
guys.
acorn.
An acorn.
You just find an oak tree.
No, did you see
I've
that?
seen that
You see that video where the cop mag dumped on a vehicle because an acorn hit the top of it? You didn't
You
see
thought
that?
it was gunfire? Oh, dude, you
Oh,
got to
it's in
see it.
Florida.
He was
He's got a
tucking and
suspect
rolling.
in the back, and he closes the car. An acorn hits the trunk. He dives on the ground, screams, "I'm hit." Mag dumps from the vehicle. Because of this, his partner responds because he's like, "Oh, he's got a gun. He's shooting at me." She mag dumps.
In other words, they put the immediate people and the person that they are shooting at. That is a felony assault. Every time they pulled the trigger is in each case that endangered the person inside the car. So again, guys, here we go. No accountability for this, and yet we have to use it as a sense of humor to show how ridiculous these people are.
It's a wonder the guy didn't get hit. And afterwards, he said that the naquan falling in the vehicle sounded the same as
A gunshot. He
So
thought, Is it-
arguably,
what are you guys ready? Ready?
Listen.
Ready?
Okay.
That did sound like gunfire. Just
Well, I can tell you one time when I was a young officer.
Listen to this guy talk himself into a hole to one of us. Now, you know, I would have done the same thing. And James was a little bit nicer than I would have been after hearing this.
And I stopped a motorhome. It was an old motorhome. And as I exit my car, it backfired. I thought it was a gunshot.
that sounds a lot more like a gunshot.
what'd you stop the motorhome for?
I don't know. It was probably speeding. I mean,
Probably shouldn't have been extorting people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, that is the truth. That is what Officer Borg, when I hold you accountable, sir, it will happen in the future. There are people that disliked you enough to help me write the lawsuit. So stay tuned, brother.
It's no victim, no crime, right?
If they're speeding, that's a crime.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
There's no victim. I mean, you know what? I don't feel sorry for cops who, extort people who haven't committed any crime whatsoever. There was one in, New Mexico
This-
recently.
So if I stop,
I would have to say this is one of the well maintained, articulated responses to a cop's plane that I've heard in a long time. I give 1,000% respect to what James Freeman says here. Even though I don't like him and I disagree with a lot of the stuff he says, this is a really good point right here.
stopped you today for exceeding the speed limit,
Uh-huh.
you would have that attitude that is not a crime. and
Absolutely.
I'm extorting you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's your opinion, and
Right.
Not a lot of our opinions. And I think officer, if you're not understanding, and I know that I have other officers watching me, I need you to understand right now that half of America has been behind a jail once or twice in their lifetime, whether it be for an hour, whether it be for 2 days, 30 days, 5 years, 10 years, and it don't feel good. Okay.
you are
And the difference between my opinion,
And for people to say, well, it's not supposed to feel good. Yeah, it's for criminals. It's not for people that don't want to pay their extortion fees. Remember that.
in yours is that I'm not willing to kill you over it. But if I decide, you know what, I think you're
For that. I need to shut up.
go
so
recently.
if I stop
You know what? I don't feel sorry for cops who, extort people who haven't committed any crime whatsoever. There was one in, New Mexico
so
recently.
if I stopped you today for exceeding the speed limit,
Uh-huh.
you would have that attitude that is not a crime. and that I'm
Absolutely.
extorting
It's
you.
not, officer. You sound really stupid. And James, even though he came back real good here, the fact here is that it's not a crime. And he's acting as if it is. It's not a crime. Speeding, dumbass, is not a crime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen to the
that's
way
your
the
opinion.
officer answered.
You would have that attitude that is not a crime. and that I'm
Absolutely.
extorting you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's your opinion, and
Right.
you are.
And the difference between my opinion and yours is that I'm not willing to kill you over it. But if I decide, you know what, I think
I'm
you're,
not willing to kill you. Over
so if I leave,
Liar.
so if I
He's a
run, you're not
liar.
going to chase.
He is a liar.
leave, yes.
He will gaslight you and put himself in a position to where he has to stop you with all costs. So when he bangs up your car and does one of those pit maneuvers, he's got a gun pointed at you. All because you were doing 5 over and you didn't want to patronize him.
So, right. So no matter what, if I
Then when
don't,
You get out
right.
there and you want to talk about victims, right?
Right.
You get out there and you start passing people on the ride, or you doing, endangered.
Because I'm running from you,
Yeah.
because you want to take my money and you're going to chase me and you will escalate it all the way to the point of killing me over speeding. See,
And
that's
not just us though. You would kill other people. You chasing me makes it twice as dangerous now over that speeding infraction that you're trying to extort out of me. Yes. This officer has just made himself look dumber and dumber and dumber. And this is why I'm trying not to be, I'm doing my best. He's tyrannical, and because of his pignorous pignoramus actions, he's too ignorant to understand that he is the bad guy. He's the bad guy. What you guys are going to find out, you cops that are watching me now, you're going to find out in the future that CIs are not crimes, and it's even written in the law that way. And you guys have conflated and distorted the law. And what I call it is you unlawfully legalized, which is the unlawful word is constitutional in section 3. All right. You have unlawfully legalized. Now in Article 1(8), that is a corporate word, right? So now you're incorporated. You're using constitutional law. I'm using the constitutional law to articulate the unlawful actions of this legal procedure of extorting people under the CIs that was written under the 10th Amendment.
That's the difference between me and you, is that I do disagree with you. I do disagree with you, but I won't murder you over it. But I won't murder you over
I
it.
feel like we're getting into a pissing contest here.
And you'll always win it. You'll always win that pissing contest because you're willing to kill me and I'm not willing to murder you.
Excellent point. I could not, come on, you guys got to give that guy a thumbs up. That James Freeman said that perfect.
If you're trying to kill me, obviously I'm going to meet that force with.
Listen to him. He have just victimized himself when he's the one that created the action that caused the reaction. All you were doing was traveling.
With force.
Trying to prevent you from robbing me, you mean?
Okay.
Exactly.
No, there
See,
you go.
that's just it. You're willing to murder me over what you think is right, and I'm not willing to murder you over what I think is right. That's the difference between you and I.
Awesome point. And there's no deception in that, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely no deception whatsoever.
You're willing to put the public in danger by driving.
No, you're willing. Quit gaslighting him. He's gaslighting. That is a corrosive tactic because of this right here. You see that badge right there? The corrosive tactic is that he's using his authority to promote his rhetoric and his opinion and how he's been brainwashed to gaslight us and using gaslighting tactics to put it back on us because they are the tyrannical Orwellian state that has given themselves the permission to promote violence against us.
In danger, driving at all puts the public in danger. You realize driving is dangerous? Everything is dangerous. Walking up and down the stairs is dangerous. Dropping fucking acorns is dangerous, right? The difference between me and you is I'm not willing to murder you over my opinions, and you're willing to murder me over your opinions.
Clicks on social media. That's great.
Some clicks on social media. The problem is that working class people are tired
Was that more cop-splaining, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah.
of being extorted by shit like you. Parasites.
I'm shit.
You are a parasite. If it weren't for working class producing business owners like myself, you wouldn't even exist, but you leech off of us.
That's not just that. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. He's not calling him out his name. A parasite is something that clings to us and sucks us dry, right? Isn't that what they're doing? There's no representation for taxation, so that's what they do to us.
Uh-huh.
And you make money off of it,
Right.
then I expect a cut of it.
I was just asking.
You ain't getting shit. You already robbed me all the time, and you
You're
just
robbing me.
How much of
No.
Oh my God. Do you hear that? You're robbing me. Why? Because I got away from you and I don't want to stop and let you take my money? Listen to that. Only a pimp would say something like that, man.
paycheck are you sending to us?
Can I
How
buy
much
one
are
for
you
a second?
spending?
Y'all want
We
to know
pay
better
you.
than anybody, and I figured since we were still here.
That's funny, right? So you post this on social media, right? And you make money, he wants to cut, but you don't get.
And just to let you know, here, let me debunk that theory. You making money, right? Let me debunk that theory real quick. We're not making money, right? even though we are getting paid. People are paying us to put commercials on our stuff. You hear me? They're paying us to promote their stuff. That's it. That right there is not, we're providing them a service. Do you understand that? They're not providing us a service. Understand that. I'm not making anything. They're making something. They're just paying for that service.
That cut of his paycheck. So you pay his paycheck with the taxes that he steals from you.
Yeah, they genuinely don't understand that they're parasites. They really don't. They think they're the good guy.
Yeah. And that is what, again, I agree with. I say that these guys are necessary anarchies, and we see this time and time and time again, over and over and over. We have 400 million people. We're in the here and now, right here, right now. And I ask God to order my footsteps on these. I've been making changes within my life. I'm trying my best to see it in the ways that when Jesus walked this earth, he, in the tyranny that he was calling out, when he told them, when he was knocking down their change tables and whipping them with a whoop and saying, "Get out of here. You've turned my house of integrity into a den of thieves." This is exactly what we're doing. We're telling them they have turned, and that's why they didn't want to unlock the door, because we are fronting them off. And they are now conspiring against us to stop us, to commit prior restraint, to withhold information from us that would show the reasons of why we do what we do. Anyways, thanks for coming. I hope this helps people. I hope this helps people that don't understand, that needs to really understand. It's in the law. It's in the First Amendment. The baby boomers did not uh, teach Generation X the first, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the eighth, and the 14th Amendments like they should have. And if they would have, generations beyond Generation X would be much smarter, much more capable of handling this stuff, and we wouldn't be in this position to begin with. You guys have a great day. God bless. We'll be back quiet reading the mail. See you in the comment sections.